Welcome everyone to the Flower Files podcast sponsored by Wildly Native Flower Farm. Here everyone is welcome to talk with fellow flower lovers, including real perspectives from the farm, the flowers, and me, the florist.
From the messy day-to-day operations down to the details and even business perspectives, this podcast has a little bit of everything to keep it real. We know that life can get crazy and we don't always have the time to spend on what we love, so we are here to help you take a little time to indulge in nature. I'm Liza Getz.
I'm Lizzy Frey, and we are the team that makes this podcast. Every once in a while, we have a couple guests, this business thing, and what we are working with is called life.
Join us as we walk you through how to think outside the box, talk from the farmer's perspective, have honest conversations about florals, and how to run, well, life. So listen in.
You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, in the podcast section, and any of your other podcast platforms. You can also find us online at wildlynativeflowerfarm.com, and in an easy way, you can look in the show notes, and all of the information will be right there for easy access for you guys. Flower friends, welcome back to the Flower Files. Lizzy here. You are getting a different kind of podcast this week. It's just me, so you get to listen to my voice for however long this podcast runs for. So this week we are diving into one of the most asked questions that we get at farmers market, workshops, even just walking around in town with some of the deliveries that we have. We always get asked this: how do you make your flowers last long in a vase? And I will say the compliments that we have gotten from people in the past is, oh my gosh, the flowers lasted for 2 weeks, this is amazing. We get so many compliments on how our flowers have lasted. So if you've ever brought home a beautiful bunch of flowers and have found them drooping in just a couple of days, don't worry, you're not alone. I am at fault and guilty of that as well. But the good news is, with just a few simple tricks, you can keep your flowers fresh and happy for so much longer. So grab your favorite mug or coffee or tea or laptop, or if you're driving somewhere, wherever you are, let's dig in. So step 1, harvest matters. Now, I know most of you are buying them probably from Acme, more than likely Trader Joe's, that kind of thing. But there's a little behind the scenes tip from the field, and that is that timing is everything. We harvest our flowers so early in the morning. Sometimes it's 5 o'clock, 5:30, depending on how hot it's going to be that day, especially in the dead of summer, especially in August, if we have, a couple weddings here and there. But you want to cut them, if you have a cut garden in your backyard, you want to cut them when they're the most hydrated. So why does this matter to you as a home flower owner? It means that shopping from a local grower like us gives you flowers that are 10 times fresher than the ones that have traveled thousands of miles from either across the water of the good old big old blue ocean, or even from El Salvador, from Africa, from everything. The floral industry is insane in itself from the wholesale side, and we have seen many different people like in that space and like their jobs and how it works, and just it's fascinating. But we are the lucky ones that get to literally have it right from the field to your vases, literally. The second thing would definitely be to strip the stems. As tempting as it may be to just throw your bouquet right into the vase when you get home, take a few minutes to prep it. The golden rule is no leaves in the water. Take any kind of foliage sitting below the water line and break it down, break it off, and make sure to take off those little tiny leaves as well if you have something that are more dainty, like chamomile or some like daisies or things like that. So if it is lower than the water line, it can cause bacteria to grow, which is kind of the kiss of death for your flowers, which is kind of not what you want, assuming that you just either spent money on them or have spent money on them from seed, that kind of thing. It's a very important detail, and I'm a nut about it. Even when we process from, like, we have some flowers that come in that a bride specifically requested. I'm like, take all the leaves off, all of it, because you want the blooms. You don't need the leaves, you need the blooms. So the third step, you want to make sure that you give them a very fresh cut, and you want to make sure that your clippers are clean. And if you have a floral knife, more power to you. I have not passed into that let's just say that realm of life, because I have cut myself one too many of times, and I am too chicken to try and learn it, because I will not be losing a finger over somebody's flowers. It's just not my thing. I like my fingers, I like my nails, I like my hands. Cut them way too many times. So every time when you give them a fresh cut, you want them about an inch or so, or where you can actually see where like the water line has been sitting. And if you are getting them from somewhere else, you want to cut them at a 45-degree angle. And why the angle, you ask? It gives them more of a surface area to drink water, and it prevents it from sitting flat on the bottom of the vase, which can cause those cells to get clogged because you're not letting it have enough space in between the bottom of the vase, the water, and your stem. So use a super sharp knife or clean floral shears, and just avoid dull scissors, because it can crush your stems if you don't do it correctly, which again is increasing more bacteria because you have something that's old. Like, it's just layers and layers and layers of things that you just don't want to do. The best part, and my favorite part that I pride ourselves on, and I joke with everybody about, is something that probably sounds obvious, but it's often overlooked. Clean your vase. This is probably the most important step. And it might, like I said, sound obvious, but it's often overlooked. Make sure your vase is squeaky clean. Not like, you don't have to sterilize it and do all of that, but you want to make sure that it's like squeaky clean. You can see through it. There's no brown or green stains on the bottom or something like that, because any leftover bacteria in the vase can shorten the life of your blooms in a day. Because once you get it wet, you're giving that bacteria more time, more space, and more life, because you haven't cleaned it or you haven't killed it with the soap or however you want to explain it. You want to fill it with room temperature water, and bonus points if you have any flower food. Now, on our side of things, I'm sure you're wondering throughout this whole podcast is, well, what do you guys put in it? What do you add in? How do you make them last so long? I will tell you a trick, and you're probably going to be upset about the answer. We don't put anything in our water. We put nothing in our water. I drink our water, like it's our well water. So we're on the farm. We have our own well, that kind of thing. We don't add Sprite. We don't add baking soda. We don't add flour food. We don't add, what are some of the other crazy things that I've heard before? Sprite, flour food, sugar, baking soda, any of that. Just you don't want that. Now, if you have really crappy town water and you won't even drink it, I would say probably not a good idea for you to have your flowers sit in that town water, because to you, if it doesn't taste good, it's not going to taste good to them. And it's different if you're watering your plants outside, because you've got the roots. They can take out the good nutrients and leave in the bad. Like, plants with roots function very differently than just a single stem sitting in a vase of water. Function very, very, very differently. So clean water, even if you have to buy a gallon jug or something and you have to mix it or whatever, that's what I would recommend, because we don't put anything in our buckets when we take them to farmers market. We don't put anything in our flower buckets with loose flowers that people order from us. We just fill them up with our water from the farm. So, and it helps that it's well water, all of those wonderful, beautiful things. All right. So, another tip for you guys is some daily TLC. You want to change the water every day or two. Give the stems a fresh trim, which will slowly start to shorten your flowers, but it'll make them last. And you want to keep your arrangement out of direct sunlight because, again, away from heat and sun, which can grow more bacteria, which is not what you want, and far from fruit. And you heard me correct, far away from your fruit tower or your basket or your bowl that has bananas, strawberries. That's, you wouldn't keep strawberries out. I hope you wouldn't keep strawberries out unless your house is that cold. But like apples and things like that, especially apples and things that you can see like spores on the skin of, they release a kind of ethylene gas that speeds up aging flowers. So whenever we have people that come in, we have a separate fridge for all of our lunches in the flower barn so that we don't have to keep the apples or whatever somebody may have in the fridge with or in the big cooler with the flowers, because it'll just knock them out within probably like a day or two. There's some more like less sturdy and delicate flowers that will not make it through being next to an apple. It's wild. Absolutely wild. So keep them in a pretty place, but keep them away from your fruit. It's like kryptonite for Superman. It's just kryptonite for your flowers, Keep them away from the scary apples. So I'm going to give you guys a couple more specific flower tips, and I'll put them in the show notes as well so that you can go back and look at them. So there are 4 flowers that we grow, and all in different seasons, of course, that I can give you kind of like a different kind of perspective on, just because of how the flowers are. Dahlias, even though they bloom in the spring, their full season is in the fall. Dahlias hate dirty water. Change it daily. They have the most beautiful and delicate blooms probably that I've ever seen. Like, they're stunning unless a bug has gotten to them. But you want to change your water daily. Tulips, they keep growing in the vase, so trim them if they start getting leggy, which totally understandable because they can sometimes get slimy and get gross, and they can start to droop a little bit. Tulips are kind of like they'll tell you when they need water if they start to turn away a little bit. Now, if they're turning to the sun, that's totally understandable because if they can still grow in the vase, they're going to stand up. They're going to move with the sun. They're kind of like a sunflower. They change with the direction of where you put them. Now, zinnias, they love warm water. And they benefit not like on a teapot, like tea warm water, but room temperature water. And they benefit from a dip in hot water before arranging, kind of like poppies, but that's a whole other kind of flower, and that's a hot mess. With poppies, you have to, right after you cut them, even if you're shortening the stem itself in your vase, you have to burn the bottom of the stems because they have a sap that's sticky and can burn you if you don't cut them correctly. So you have to burn them. It's not like you're gonna cut and you're gonna get burned if you get them on you, but they itch. It's uncomfortable, and I am one of the most sensitive skinned people I ever met in my life, so poppies are not my friend. But zinnias love warm water, benefit from a hot dip in water before arranging, and sunflowers, they will suck up every single inch of water in your vase if you do not refill them. And then you've got this weird in between. Your vase is so full that you only have a little bit of water left, and then you have stems that have been wet and now they're in the air, but they're trapped and they can't breathe, so they're not drying out, so they stink. And not good. Not a good time at all. So if you're buying from us, thank you, by the way. Shout out to you. Love you guys. If you're too far away, love all the listening and all of the messages on Instagram. So please continue to do that. We are always open to questions or if you need anything. But we've already done a lot of the hard work for you, and our blooms are harvested at their peak. So you're starting with the best, of course, because where else would you get the best other than Wildly Native Flower Farm? Definitely not at Acme. Those flowers have traveled from far and wide for a multitude of days, maybe even a week to 10 days, and they have been sprayed. And so, as much as they may be beautiful, it's probably not your best bet if you're looking for flowers that last a long time. So, with just a few simple steps, you have all of that information so you can keep your fresh picked flower vibes going for days on end, sometimes even a week or more. And like I said, we've had some people say from us their flowers have lasted up to 2 weeks, and I take my pride in that. Some people have said that it lasts up to a month, but it just means that they are on top of their flower changing game. So, shout out to those people. Flowers are a place and are a thing that you can enjoy, and they only live for so long. They keep you in the moment with life. So take care of them and be a little sweet. Take every day to take them in and focus on that moment of peace and beauty into your day, because they don't last forever. If you love this episode, please share it with a flower-loving friend or tag us on Wildly Native Flower Farm on Instagram with your vase arrangements. We love seeing them in your homes. And don't forget to subscribe. You'll never miss another bloom-filled episode. And until next time, keep your flowers fresh and your vibes wildly native. Thanks, guys. Have a good day, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye.
Hey guys, just dropping a line to tell you about Patreon.
So I asked them, meaning Mom and Amber, what is Patreon anyway? Because I honestly had no idea. So we're going to explain it to you from our perspective so that you understand and so that I understand.
Because the first time I saw it, I was like, Patron? We're drinking tequila? Great. So Patreon is for less than a cup of coffee, those fancy coffees that y'all like, a day, you can sign up to become one of our members.
A little family.
Exactly. And what does that get us?
It gets us some freebies, some special episodes that other people do not get access to. You can interact with us on a special platform where we can ask you questions and interact with you. It's tons of fun.
Mm-hmm. And even on those special episodes, we might be less censored than we are already. And we're going to have a couple fun ones that we can just kind of throw in there and talk about and laugh and go on tangents and have fun. So I hope that you all enjoy it, because we're going to have fun along the way. We're crazy excited.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Back to the episode now. Bye.
Gracias.